shall consume the future. The dead shall consume the living. And chaos shall reign supreme!
Welcome, everybody, to part 38 of What If Dale Survived the Remake, where in the last episode we had a huge episode, especially revolving around Rick and Pete coming back from the brink, and Jesse getting shot in the face area, but we don't know if she was shot in the head or if she somehow is going to live. And we're getting into the introduction of the Savior arc, truthfully, with Rick wanting to kill them all. And that's where we resume the story, starting today. But first, really quick, you guys should definitely hit that subscribe button on the channel. And I hope you guys like the new, subscribe logo and thing here. Forgive it's going to be long each time. I made each thing for the subscribe a separate project, 45 seconds with this, so I could put the thing and make my own subscribe gif and whatnot, so I didn't have to keep finding them off the internet, because I was running kind of dry there, I'm not gonna lie. But anyways, you guys should definitely hit the subscribe button, because we have been through a lot on this channel, and it only keeps getting better with each new project and accomplishment. So you definitely should hit that sub button and check out old and new projects alike. With that, let's get into it. Now, Dale, after hearing Rick wanting to kill all the Saviors, and even him and everybody else knowing what just happened in there, and they didn't see it, but they heard it. And what Rick's saying, Dale understands it, but he's telling Rick to snap out of this. He's beginning to go down that darker path before they came to Alexandria. What was the point in bringing himself back from that moment just to have it taken away the second that he loses another love interest? Or supposedly loses another love interest. Dale doesn't know. And to be honest, Rick doesn't either. He just assumed that Jessie was dead, and for all we know, she could be. And anyways, Dale tells Rick that if he goes more down the dark path like he did before, he might not be able to come back. He, literally will devolve truly into darkness. And he doesn't want that for Rick. He's known him since the beginning. They've been through hell and back with the governor, and with the wolves, with every single major group in the story. And the last thing that Dale wants, especially after losing his arm, almost losing his eye and his mind, he knows what this is doing to Rick. But he's telling Rick that he has to simmer it down. They wanted conflict as the last possible option. They can still find a way to reason with these people. They haven't done anything out of sorts like the governor did. And he was the main one that infected their lives. But Rick says he can't believe Dale. And this throws Dale for the loop. And he asks, what do you mean you can't believe me? Rick goes on to say, I can't believe that you would literally still side with bad people in this world. The governor, look at what happened to him. He took away everyone, almost. He took away your arm. He took away my son. He took away my wife, Andrea. He took away almost everything. And as for Shane, he was dang near close to robbing both you and me out of existence. And even now, to this day, even when Pete comes back from the dead after Rosita seemingly killed him, he killed Jessie. And now Sam is alone. And you still want to side with people who are the enemy? What kind of moral compass are you? What kind of moral compass do we have if we keep letting the bad in, not knowing if they'll turn on us? Not seeing that, not wanting to take action first, is exactly what got almost every single person that we've ever been around killed. And it got everyone else killed that we know about. And he just walks away. Dale is just completely shocked by this, that Rick has literally devolved into 1,000 times more of a monster than he was, and his Shane is really starting to show. And don't get me wrong, Dale understands what this is doing to Rick, but he also knows that the darker that he gets, he won't even want to care about anyone he's still with. And he knows that the best course of action is for the council and every other person who's going to the satellite outposts to confront the saviors. They need to do everything in their power to halt Rick from killing as many saviors as possible without him possibly trying to kill one of them. Because they all know how that went back at Father Gabriel's church. So, what they need to do is try and save as many saviors as possible and make a deal while stopping Rick from killing as many as possible. And he also needs to pay attention to the fact that since Rick is in no state of mind to do so, someone needs to keep an eye on Sam. Because he doesn't have a brother, he doesn't have a father, and he seemingly doesn't have a mother. And Rick, being with Jesse for a good amount of time, he was the next in line to be like a dad to Sam. And with him running Crazy Town, he ain't in no position to even take care of his baby daughter. So taking care of Sam is almost out of the question. Dale has to accept the mantle, and Sam's going anyway. Once they get there, the introduction would play out as you would expect. But afterwards, once they get inside, Rick doesn't even bother to kill them quietly in their sleep. He utterly, completely tears into the satellite outpost, shooting, knifing, slicing, anything you can imagine that Rick would do at his disposal at this level of rage and malice. He doesn't care. He is beyond reasoning. And he is just tearing through the entire outpost to kill them all. Now Dale, Morgan, Tyrese, Eastman, and Aaron, the main five of the council and the moral compasses with the Aikido and just in general, you guys know what I'm talking about. They try to halt Rick from killing as many saviors as possible, even though it's starting to make the saviors retaliate, obviously. They're trying to make sure that Rick doesn't lose all of what's left in him. And Morgan and Daryl especially know this, because Daryl has been around with him for a long time. He was there, and Morgan, he was snapped out of clear mode because of Rick and him devolving into darkness. And him doing it again here, now, Morgan's just... it's just making him remember more of what he was, and that his clear mode pales in comparison to Rick's monstrosity nature that he has gotten into. And everyone trying to stop him, or at least halt him from killing as many saviors as possible that they can, Rick acknowledges that they are talking to him and listens to the fact that they don't want him to lose all sense of himself and try to keep himself from killing, like, you know, as many saviors as possible. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but still. He still acknowledges this and hears them, but he pays no mind to this. All Rick can think about is just getting his rage out. Killing Pete, slicing him, shooting him, and mangling him to death, literally beyond death, that wasn't enough. Rick's rage and malice is still clicking in his mind, and he only has one objective: kill any bad guy in his path. And as much as Eastman, Dale, and Tyrese, everybody want to stop him, they can only stop him just barely. But they need to make sure that they protect themselves and also stop Rick from going too far that he begins to get reckless and accidentally gets himself killed. Because anger makes you stupid. Just ask Vegeta. Anyways, yeah, they try to hold him as much as humanly possible while making sure he doesn't make any reckless moves and protecting themselves. Now, they don't spare too much. They don't even get the chance to, except one, Primo. But right whenever this happens, Paula and the other saviors there act. Megan, Sam, and Mika, the three that are by the truck this time instead of Carol and Maggie, because Maggie's not there and Carol is dead. These three are by the van instead to protect it. Because they still came along, but they ain't gonna do much in the satellite outpost. Not yet. Even though I've had Mika participate before, but that's beside the point. Owen sees that the saviors are cornering the children around the van. So, Owen thinks fast and begins to attack, coming out of seemingly nowhere in Paula and the saviors' eyes, and begins to help the kids fight off these saviors. But they're still outnumbered, kind of. Morgan is the next one to see the commotion, or at least hear it. And once he gets all the way there, everyone's still alive, and Morgan tries to plead with Paula and the other saviors that they don't have to do this. One of their group members is in a psychotic rage. And if they don't leave or surrender now, they're gonna die. And he doesn't want that. He knows that they can make a deal, or at least not have to kill any more than have already been killed. And keep in mind, these are the first saviors to die by Rick's group's hands at this point. But Paula just smiles wickedly and just tells Morgan, no, that's not gonna happen. And with that, she shoots her gun, bang, and the gunshot rings out into Owen. Now, this isn't the first time that I've killed him around this point, but let's be real here, they were still outmanned, and it was more or less Morgan's fault for trying to plead with them, and this should have been the obvious result that this was going to happen. And at that moment, Morgan, with his stick in one hand and Michonne's blade in the other, because remember, he still has that. With both of them in hand, to every savior, specifically Paula, he strikes with the stick, then slices with the blade. Strikes, slices, over and over again in a very cool dual-wielding manner that would honestly be really cool to see from Morgan. I haven't had this happen yet, and I did say earlier on that we would get very sick moments with Morgan and Michonne's blade, because I definitely think that it suits him getting an axe later in Fear, after all. Dale, after they all get through with Primo and everything, he sees this and is very shocked at Morgan for doing this. But Morgan simply tells him that he had to. Owen was killed, and if he had just let them kill the kids and him, they would have been down very important people, including himself, and he wasn't going to take that. But his justification is much better than Rick's, because Rick was just going in psychotic rage from Jesse. But Morgan, he was just stopping anybody else from dying in the only way he knew how. And he justifies this very good to Dale and everybody else. And Eastman, knowing Morgan for longer than Dale and Tyrese, he would definitely agree that this was like the only way that they could have realistically saved not only Morgan, but the kids. So, honestly, he doesn't blame Morgan for doing this, and at least they tried to spare the saviors, but it ultimately meant nothing in the end. Once they return to Alexandria, this is the moment where Rick's rage has seemingly subsided. Oh, don't get me wrong, he's still dark. He ain't recovered because, you know, what's happened and obvious, like, stuff like that. But he is recovered to the point where he begins to feel sorry of how dark he got once again. And even with the likes of Sam, he's sorry that he's like the only one around that can realistically like watch him and was taking up the duty of a dad, like I said. And he feels really bad that he literally almost put Sam in mortal danger just because he wanted to kill the saviors. and says to Sam that he's really sorry for that, and the fact that what happened with Pete and his mom and brother and everything. But Sam, at this point, Sam has matured a lot more than you might think, and is a lot braver, and doesn't blame Rick for what he did or why he acted the way he did. He knew that his dad and Ron were just bad. They deserved to get what was coming to them. They dug their own holes. He understands that. He's still sad about it, but he understands that his mom died because of his father and kind of brother. So he does not blame Rick in the slightest for this. Then Denise meets them at the gates and says they need to see something very important. And when she says this, she specifically eyes herself towards Rick and Sam whenever saying this, and says that it's really important and they need to get into the gates now. And immediately after saying this, and Denise eyeing Rick and Sam specifically, Rick catches on to this and begins speeding it right into the gates, inferring what could possibly be said about what's inside. But what is inside? What is Denise talking about? Do you think that Jesse is actually alive and that's why Rick's booking it in? Was Alexandria attacked by the Saviors early? Or do you think that Denise unfortunately has to break the news that Jesse is indeed dead? Because I'm not going to bring back Pete after everything like that, because he's freaking mangled, cut up, shot, and everything. But yeah, those are the three best conclusions that I bet you guys can infer for the next episode. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for the moment. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We have 38 parts in, and we are into the Savior arc. After the Savior arc truly starts, like, getting into Negan and stuff next time, we will only have about 2 to 3 parts left of the tale. Meaning that this story is almost completely wrapped up. I did say it would be 40 to like a bit over 40 parts, and I think I did pretty good with that estimation. I'm pretty good with numbers and calculations and stuff like that. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this long freaking tale for what it's been, and how epic that it's still going to get, because trust me, we ain't through with the freaking epicness of this tale just yet. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one.
One shall stand, and one shall fall.